Yeah, hey guys, welcome back. I know it's been a few weeks, but we've been doing a bit of renovations around here, so it's been a bit of a crazy 4 weeks or so. But today I just want to talk about a really cool, quick tip about navigating pentatonic scales, and this one is, I think, really helpful, and it's pretty simple concept really, but a lot of the time, especially when you're learning, it can be really tricky to know when to move to another shape or how to even get there. It feels like you can just see one at a time, and then it's really hard to visualize the ones adjacent, you know. So if we start in G minor, the idea is we're just going to do the fat 3 strings. So we're going to break it down into a smaller pattern. So you've got the fat 3 of the G minor pentatonic scale if we start in position 1. The classic one we all know. And from there, you're going to slide up into position 2. So you can use this third finger, slide up. You can do whatever fingering feels comfortable. Whatever sort of works for you. There's no like rule about which fingers you should use. So you're going to start and then slide up into pattern 3. Slide up into pattern 4, then pattern 5, back to pattern 1 again, pattern 2, and then pattern 3, right at the end. So really you're just going down 3 strings, sliding up, going back up 3 strings, sliding up. And then once you get to the end, you're going to slide back down. Pattern 2, pattern 1, pattern 5, 4, 3, 2, and then do pattern 5 again if you want at the end. Okay, so that's simple enough, and that's very pattern based, and that's great, but really to make it go to that next level is you want to start to visualize the root notes, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things that was missing from my playing over a long, like 20 years pretty much of playing loads and loads of live shows, is that I used to just purely visualize patterns. I knew where to start. You know, I knew this was the start one, and I knew this is the next one, and this is the next one. But I often didn't ever visualize the root notes. So as usual, what happens is you get lost. You get to a point, you go, oh man, I don't know where I am anymore. And sometimes you've got to go back to that first pattern to work out where you are. So the idea behind this is, this time when you go through, once you feel comfortable with that, go through and visualize those root notes as you go through. So you've got pattern 1, you've got a root note, there's your next root note. So you've got 2 in that first pattern. And you're going to slide up to your second pattern number 2, and you've got root note there. That's the only spot in that pattern you've got that root note. Then up to your next one, root note, there's the root note. And slide up again, and there's the root note, same root note. And then slide up to pattern 5, root note. And then you're back to pattern 1 again with its 2 root notes. So there, and as you go up through, you really get it really sort of gives you an association with a root note and a pattern. So you don't just, it's not purely pattern based. And I think I've said it a few times before, but there's really sort of 4 main methods of navigating the fretboard, and there's knowing the note names, which I think is probably one of the most important sort of foundation ways of navigating. And then you've got intervallic functions, which is obviously the intervals. Then you've got triads and arpeggios, and then you've got shapes, and they're all valid ways of playing the guitar. But the musicians that I have met that have the most complete knowledge of the fretboard, they are pretty good at all 4, and they generally use one as their main, but all the other 3 are going on in the background. And this is a great way of sort of joining together a pattern-based approach with a note-based approach. So you have got a couple of things going on, a couple of ways of knowing where you're at. Because I do know if a lot of guys that were like myself, started just purely pattern-based, you'd know, oh, there's a G, and now I'm in G minor, and everything's basically based off that G across the whole neck. You're just joining patterns together. Once you're at pattern 2, you know how to get to pattern 3, but if you get lost at pattern 3, you've got to go back to pattern 1 and start it all over again, and it's can be pretty frustrating and real limiting. So have a go at that one. So remember, just those fat 3 strings, and you're going to go through pattern 1 to pattern 2, pattern 3, thinking of those root notes. And it's really going to help you navigate. There's obviously, you can expand on that, but for now, just stick with that and feel comfortable with that. You'll see really good results from that. I definitely did that without using the root notes years and years ago, and I found it really helpful for joining patterns together and having pathways through. But adding those root notes in just takes it up like a whole different level. And it's just a matter of doing it, and just have patience. It'll happen. You know, you just don't. It's not something that you can rush. You've just got to just keep doing it consistently, and it just starts happening. But yeah, so hopefully that's going to help you. I'll try to get more videos out. I've got some really cool ideas and things coming up. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe if you've stumbled onto this tiny little channel we've got at the moment. And yeah, I'm going to get some cool new things out soon. Hopefully we get these renos done. Okay. Anyway, catch you next time. Thanks.